Not much to choose from today, guys. In fact, most of the crypto market's in a decline. Most of it is pulling back. It's pulling back. And there's over 10,000 of the cryptos out there, guys. So which is the right one to choose? We're going to look at DOT today, Polkadot. Why is that important? Because Polkadot's one of the few cryptocurrencies that's showing not only strength against the dollar, it's outperforming the total three. It's also showing strength against the big daddy. That's what we need to measure. Is it outperforming Bitcoin? Because there's indications that showing me that DOT is going to really outperform Bitcoin very shortly. I'm going to show you what needs to happen first. DOT's currently trading at $6.28. And the first thing that you can see when you look at this chart is that we've broken the diagonal. Why is the diagonal important? What does the diagonal represent? We're going to talk about that very, very shortly. But knowing that we've broken the diagonal shows one thing. It shows that we've got momentum on our side. Now, you've got two types of diagonal. You've got the diagonal that's going from the bottom left to the top right, representing a bullish trend when price is above there. And then flip that in reverse from the top left to the bottom right. That's showing bearish and the price action's underneath there. So what does it allow for when we can add these trends? And the more it touches within the trend, the more likely it is to hold. Once you've broken a trend, that's indicating weakness of a trend, and you can prepare yourself. You can understand exactly how you can protect yourself in the event that you have broken a diagonal trend. So we've got two types of diagonal trend. In fact, we'll go back here. We'll talk about the diagonal first. So you've got the diagonal here. And you can see this is something that we talked about in real time when it was happening. You've got one touch here, you've got one touch here. So that's two touches. You can build in a diagonal trend line on two touches. Is two touches good? Will two touches hold? Because you get that one thing that we call a 1, 2, 3 fake out. And time again, what you'll see is 1, 2, and you'll see a fake out of 3. That wasn't too big of a fake out. But you can see how prices push back in. Once you've had three touches, then the trend is confirmed. So you've had three touches, this trend's confirmed, and then we had a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, until ultimately we broke through, retested, and then turned bullish. So we add in our diagonal to the upside. You've had one touch here, you've come back down, two touches, three touches. That's going to confirm our trend. We can build in our trend line, and we know that once that's broken to the downside, the trend is weakening, and then we can prepare. One touch, two touch, three touches. We can add a trend line to this. Once that's broken, momentum is on our side. So we know momentum's on our side. Sorry for teaching you to suck eggs, guys. I just want you to understand the psychology behind the diagonal. Because all it is on this chart is it's buyers and sellers. Sometimes the buyers are greedy. Sometimes the buyers are fearful. Sometimes the buyers are unsure. So that's represented in bullish trends, bearish trends, and sideways trends. It's all human emotions, guys. How people are feeling any one day. It's such an important thing. And then you get news on the back of that. When you get negative news, everybody sees the negative news. People sell their crypto, people sell their assets. It has a negative impact on price. It's as simple as that, guys. It's not candles that are random. This is buyers and sellers. This is people like you and me. This is institutions. This is retail that's driving these markets. Right, okay, so what's the difference between a horizontal and a diagonal trend line? We'll stick a horizontal on there. And what is the difference between this? One thing that you'll see with a diagonal, this is important, guys. One thing you'll see with a diagonal is it might hold because there's more eyes on the chart. The more eyes that are on the chart, the more likely it is to hold. It's psychology. So you've had one touch here, one touch here, one touch here, one touch there, and one touch here. Now, what you'll notice on a diagonal is as we're going down or up, depending on the movement, you'll see that each one of these prices is different. So you've got $11.71. Down here, you've got $7.75. You've got $7.24. You've got to remember that these are buy orders and sell orders. So if you've got people selling here, and you've got people selling here, and you've got people selling here, these are all different prices. So there's not going to be a sell wall on a diagonal as much as what there is on a horizontal. When you look at a horizontal here, this represents a horizontal line. What would happen if we touch this once, touch this twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times? What does this represent? That represents $8.65. If you've got the same amount of people putting in sell orders on a horizontal, that's going to add more weight because the price is the same. So that's going to create a sell wall. That's going to create a sell wall. And this is an important thing to remember. So back to DOT. So we've broken trend, we've broken the diagonal. We know that momentum's on our side, and we know more importantly we can protect ourselves below the low. Because what we don't want to happen is a fake out. You come back down here, we want to be stopped out at this point. If there's a fake out of any kind and the rest of the crypto market starts taking a downturn, it's a high probability that DOT will take a downturn as well. What you need to do is remember, protect your capital. Preservation of capital is the key. So this isn't the end of the world, because if you can get cheaper prices down here, that is insignificant. You've protected yourself, you've managed to get cheaper prices, and that's the psychology behind it, guys. These things don't play out all the time. We just need a higher probability of them playing out. And one way that you can look at it is, who's got momentum? How can I protect myself? Do I have any kind of strategy? Your strategy can be as simple as this. Got diagonal trend, 2 touches, 3 touches, trends holds, and then once you've dropped trend, then you protect yourself, you're out. It's as simple as this, guys. Let's do it again. You're down here, down here, down here. So you break trend like we've done. You've got your protections under here. You can come back, potentially retest here, and then move to the upside. All it does is it allows that protection gap, As you keep putting in those higher lows and higher lows, if you're trending bullish, then you can protect yourself with a trailing stop. So you can either protect yourself with a trailing stop, a manual one, which is what I do. And every time that we put in a new low until we've taken out this previous high, then my stop loss goes down there. Because ultimately, if this happens, I'm in profit. So that's that. Okay, the next thing that we're going to look at is the Bitcoin pair. And this is Bitcoin. Now, take a step back, take a look at this chart. Now, what can you identify? Are we outperforming Bitcoin? Is DOT outperforming Bitcoin? Because we've broken trend. We talked about breaking trend. What does that allow for? That allows for protections. Broken trend, we know where it is that we're wrong. We're wrong down here if we break this low. Are we bullish or are we bearish against Bitcoin? If you take a look, we can zoom out. What are we doing? We're creating lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Lower lows, lower lows. We're in a bearish trend, guys. We're in a bearish trend. However, there's an indication that we've just broken the diagonal, giving us our first clue that DOT can potentially outperform Bitcoin in the short term. What we really need to do is take back the 1201 level and break this previous high. That's going to confirm a reversal. Once we break in this high, this holds as support, previous resistance, then we can start changing trend. We can start building our upward sloping trend line. Once we've had 3 touches, you can build it in. Once you've broken trend, you're wrong, you can be out. Simple as that, guys, simple as that. So as far as DOT outperforming Bitcoin is concerned, there's indications, we've got a slight clue that there could be a short-term reversal. And this is the clue, was this break of trend. Sorry for the mess. That was the clue, was the break of trend. So got an indication that DOT is outperforming the dollar at the moment. We've got an indication that DOT is starting to outperform the big daddy in crypto, Bitcoin. Total 3. Why is total 3 important? Total 3 is an indication as to whether, and we talk about risk on and risk off, total 3 is an indication of whether the whole of the crypto market is going to run, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum. That's going to show us our risk tolerance, because as total 3 starts trending upwards, that means people are risk on. The world is risk on. So what we need to see is this level to hold here on total 3, which is 569 billion. And what we need to happen in the more longer term over the next few weeks is a break of this trend to the upside to hold support and then a move. So we're looking at early indications now that DOT's potentially outperforming. Total 3 is not giving us any clues. It's holding in its bullish pennant. So that's holding in its bullish pennant. We've got BTC. The next thing that I want to show you guys is the indicator. Now you hear of this indicator time and time again, the relative strength index, the RSI. But why is the RSI important? I'm going to show you guys, because one of my favorite things to use for confluence is divergences. Divergences play out time and time and time again. We're looking for bullish divergences on this one, and we're looking for differences in price action to the RSI. The relative strength index measures the strength of the buyers and the sellers at any given time, and you can get clues from the relative strength index to see whether momentum's looking the same as what the chart's looking. So let's stick this in here. We'll stick a simple trend line on there, guys. You put in a low, you put in a higher low here, a higher low there. Oh, that's a lower low, beg your pardon. You put in a higher low there, and you've put in a higher high there, right? So what is the chart telling us? Chart's telling us that we've put in a lower low, and then we've put in another lower low, and we put in a lower high. So the chart is telling us that the buying and selling pressure is not represented on the chart as well as what it is on the RSI. So that's signaling that the chart needs to catch up. We could do that in the .BTC pair. This is additional confluence, guys. It's happening on the .BTC pair. It's happening on the USDT pair. You can see again, lower low, higher low, lower low, lower low. So that's giving us an indication that both of these pairs need to catch up. The .USDT pair and the .Bitcoin pair needs to catch up too. And finally, we've got the weekly analysis. So I always look at the weekly analysis for a longer thesis. I call this the investment time frame. So each one of these candles represents a week. And look at what we were just looking at a minute ago. That looks pretty insignificant to where dot's been before. So the first thing we're going to do is trusty Fibonacci. We're going to pull our Fibonacci from its previous swing high, up here, to its swing low. And what we're looking for is how far it is to the 382. Are we likely to get a reaction from the 382? And what levels do we expect resistance? So this 382 is going to be my first resistance level. And it's sat at $23.20. Now look at this, guys. Just pull this back. What can we see? It's been rejected already. It's been rejected. So why is price going to just slam through there just like that? You've got to respect this as resistance, guys. You've got to expect resistance at this point. If you're expecting resistance at this point from where price action is currently sitting, 265% to the upside. So that's not to be sniffed at, just to get back to its 382 of its previous high. So that's where I'm looking for. I'm not going to project any further than that because I know that you moon boys are just going to start putting take profit levels up to the moon, guys, and I want you all to make money. I want you all to make money. So the 382 is my conservative level. I'm happy with 265%. If you did find it useful, let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next, and I'll see you in the next one.